Welcome to I May Be Wrong.
I don't know what this world is coming to,
but I don't think so. We're broadcasting from the greater Nashville area, the home of country music, beyond the borders of political correctness and identity politics. Facts and faith are our demarcations. Truth lights our path.
Here's the Barry White of Podcast Radio,
the Venerable Alphonso Ashworth.
If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Well, of course, this is, I may be wrong, but I don't think so, and it's Free Falling Wednesday. If you have not experienced a free fall, if you've not heard a free fall episode, you are in for a treat, because there is no filter, there are no parachutes, and we are jumping for whatever happens. Of course, I'm Alphonso Ashworth. I welcome you to the show, and if I trigger you, I meant to do so. If you're not someone, if you're thin-skinned, if you don't have a common sense bone in your body, this is not your episode. Go find something else to watch, because we're going to talk about several subjects, not just what's going on in politics, but what's going on in our country with our schools, with our children, and what you just heard. The occult, the satanic cult that's happening in our schools, that's happening in our churches, that's happening in our communities, is happening right under the noses of all you people worried about impeaching President Trump. That's the big story. All this is happening right up under your nose, and you're so distracted because you hate this one person that you're allowing the occultists to come into your schools, the satanic movement with this LGBTQ community, with this transgenderism, with this movement where they're teaching little boys that they don't have to be boys. They're teaching little girls they don't have to be girls. This is part of the satanic cult that's been happening in this country since they removed God from the building. Of course, I want to welcome Brian McDonald to the show, Angela Young to the show, Paula McHaney to the show, and of course, Diane Sarah Carroll to the show, Hall to the show. Y'all welcome. Post your comments. We'll try to get you on air. This is Free Falling Wednesday. We're going to talk about several things that are happening. You just heard my friend Paul Harvey, a remake of a 1963 version, If I Were the Devil. Look, the devil, you can call it what you want to. You can dress it up. You can paint it. You can twist it, turn around, flip it, do whatever you want. The movement that's happening right now to take our young people, they're murdering our young people. They're diseases. They're giving them chemicals that are killing them by the thousands. And it ultimately is going to wipe out a generation. What's happening at our border? Families are being murdered for drugs. Entire families are being targeted. They're being wiped out on our border for what? For these drugs that are coming into this country unabated. The president is trying to get the wall. The Congress is blocking him at every turn. They don't care about your children. They care about winning elections. About what happened in Kentucky last night. Governor Bevin was on his way out. Donald Trump almost drug him over the finish line. That's not the story they're trying to tell you today. They're trying to tell you that the GOP is the enemy. The GOP is the boogeyman. The GOP is the monster in the room. The thing is, the Democrats have been in control of this country for the last half century when it comes to the urban cities. This is Free Falling Wednesday, and there are no parachutes, folks. What else is happening? Well, I'll tell you what's happening. What about Uncle Joe? What about Uncle Joe and the falling money? Who in the world buys into the idea that President Trump somehow has colluded with Russia and somehow has colluded with the Ukrainians to bring down Joe Biden when it was his son that's getting all the money? Uncle Joe is begging for money. He take your dollar any way he can get it. And all of a sudden now we're trying to impeach a duly elected president for something that the Democrats have been doing since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time. You take it back to when slavery was established. The Democratic Party went to war to keep their slaves. And they're going to war now to keep those who are blinded by this political ideology that somehow the people who have, for some reason, owe it to the people who have not. Well, I've got a saying, and that saying says, I'm willing to help anyone that's unable, but I'll be darned if I'm helping somebody that's unwilling. You sit on your behinds, you don't do anything to help your children, then you want others to come along and build you a palace. Well, Uncle Joe Biden, he's standing there with his hands out, him and his son raking in $80,000 a month. And then he walks away with $1.5 billion from the Chinese. But somehow that's been twisted and turned into something that now equals collusion. Of course, I'm Alphonso Ashworth, and we're just getting started. I want to welcome all to the chat. I see that you're in the chat room. Paula says there are no none so blind as those that will not see. Thank you for posting that in the chat room, Paula. If you would like to chat with us, if you would like to be a part of the show, I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Go to imaybewrongbutidon'tthinkso.com and you can sign in, you can subscribe. And of course, if you can contribute to the show, if it's something that you identify with, look, I don't want you to be a part of something that you don't like. Look, I'm not begging you to come and be a part of my show. Matter of fact, I don't beg you to come on my Facebook page, but I let people come on. They get to say pretty much whatever they want to say, but most of the time they leave upset because they don't have facts. They just got propaganda. They have talking points. They have absolutely no facts. And then when they discover that we have facts and we have faith on our side, they get upset. And of course, then that's where the name calling and the finger pointing comes in. I'm good with that. I'm pretty thick skinned. If you would like to find out more about me, you can buy my book. Of course, just read my recent book that I finished, of course, is No Snow Days. And it pretty much chronicles my life story and how I become this person that's determined to get out there and have his voice be heard one way or the other. This is America. And I agree with what Donald Trump said.
If you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave.
What did you say?
If you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave.
You can leave any way you choose, by hook, by crook. Matter of fact, I think most Americans would take up a plate for you. We'll send you wherever you want to go. You want to go to Venezuela? Fine, we can send you to Venezuela. But of course, this is Free Falling Wednesday. We are in full free fall mode. Of course, Paula is posting in the chat room. If you would like to join some of those on Facebook Live, you can do so, or you can join us on the web page. If you would like to chat from there, go to ImayBeWrongButIDon'tThinkSo.com. All this stuff that's happening right now in our media, all the collusion, all the money that's being grabbed, the billions of dollars that's going to other countries, the billions of dollars that are going to places like Iran, the billions and billions of dollars that have been robbed from us from places like China. Well, who's been in bed with China more than the Democrats? The Clintons made a living being in bed with the Chinese. The Clinton Foundation made billions of dollars being in bed with the Chinese. Who else has made money from the Chinese? Look, Donald Trump has made money, but it's all been legitimate through his business dealings, not through government. See, there's your difference, folks. They're just upset because Donald Trump made his money as a hard-working businessman using the tax code that has been given to all of us to abide by. He just figured out ways to make money doing it, just like other people have. That's what upsets him. He can't be bought. See, all these other politicians like Biden, they've made a career off of being bought. They understand the game better than anybody. Uncle Joe understands collusion. Hillary Clinton understands collusion because how? That's how they're made their living. Their entire lives is in government. So what do you want? Do you want the oligarchs? You want those oligarchs to run everything and then them turn around and tell you and I, hardworking business people, well, you got to pay more. That's what Bernie Sanders wants from you. That's what Elizabeth Warren wants from you. That's what Kamala Harris wants from you. That's what the Gang of Four wants from you. Someone called them a brood of witches. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her gang. Look, they run businesses out of town. They don't bring business into town. They run you out of town. They ran Amazon. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez ran Amazon with their 25,000 jobs and who knows how many millions of dollars to come into New York. She ran them out of town and is proud of it. And they want to do more of that. Look, when I was calling Barack Obama a Marxist socialist in 2004, I may have been the first one in my circle that called him that. I heard him speak. And I turned and told someone, he's a Marxist socialist. They looked at me like I was crazy. Now I'm proven right. Matter of fact, he's a Marxist socialist and they're moving further to the left than he was standing. I couldn't have believed that anyone could have got as far left as Barack Obama and done it in such fashion, in such short order. It's amazing to me that he was able to do what he did in 8 years to this country. He ran us out of the ditch, up a hill, over the tundra, down in a hole, across the lake, and down into the swamp. Somebody's posted, I see that Miss Akita Dukes Mosby has posted the free fall. You have to see it in the I May Be Wrong page on your messenger. If you'll join me there, you can find out what's happening. We are in free fall Wednesday. We are, of course, there are no filters today. We don't have a caller. And matter of fact, I could go for 2 hours. I've done it before many times. I have no problem whatsoever going for as long as it's necessary. And of course, if you would like to be a part of the show, you can join me at I May Be Wrong, but I don't think so.com. Subscribe to the show. That way you'll get all the latest information that comes across my page. You'll find out who the guest is going to be on the show before anyone else, and you'll find out all the latest and greatest news about your host. I am not humble today. This is Free Fall Wednesday. We have taken off the parachute, and we are covering all this nonsense, this stuff about the impeachment. Who in the world impeaches a president for doing what presidents are supposed to do? The president's responsibility is to protect this country by whatever means constitutionally and militarily that he can possibly do, period, bar none. That means our border. That means dealing with these other countries. That means dealing with these other leaders, no matter what position these people are in, whether it's somebody in North Korea or somebody in Israel. The president has a responsibility to adhere to the American public and the United States Constitution. Matter of fact, I've got a constitutional law expert that's coming on the show in the near future, and I also have somebody that's going to come on that's a expert on Sharia law. We're going to put the nail down on this stuff about the American Constitution, what's constitutional and what we have to adhere to other nations. We owe no other nation no other responsibility but the ones that we have here. And I agree with President Trump.
You hate our country. If you're not happy here, you can leave.
Well, yeah, you just get up. Hey, look, man, nobody is stopping you. Look, you can go anywhere in the world that somebody will accept you. Good luck. Good luck when you get there. And when you leave, don't let the doorknob of the Constitution hit you, where the good Lord, you know what. So this is Free Fall Wednesday. There are no filters. If you don't like something like this may not be the place for you. Thank you for joining us, Tim Bennett. Thank you for joining us today. I see that Marianne Spears has joined us. Of course, Edward H. Arnold has joined us today. We got a lot that's happening on Facebook Live and on my website. We are multicasting today. This will be later something you can see on YouTube and also catch us in the podcast. If you would like to find out more about how to do that, go to I May Be Wrong, but I don't think so.com. Hey, Lou, we've had some great guests on. Stanley Levy. We've had Dumasani Washington. We've had Lonnie Poindexter on the show. We've had constitutional gun rights activist John Harris. We've had Pastor Bruce Rivers. We've had a lot of people on this program, and we got more to come. The more that you look, this is not going to stop. 2020 will be the biggest election cycle in the history of this country. The Democrats are going full Monty on this. They're not holding back anything. They're not taking any chances this time. They have no candidate, but I'm telling you, it's a 50-50 chance that Hillary Clinton is going to get in the race. You don't know why? Because Uncle Joe can't cut it. This man has been a disaster from the time that he was a senator. Joe Biden has been a bumbling, stumbling idiot from the time this guy became a senator and then worked his way. He didn't even see that Barack Obama was using him as a scapegoat. He sent him over to Ukraine to do what President Trump has the nerve to do as president of the United States. And Joe Biden is on audio, video, quid pro quo, do the investigation, Joe, Otherwise, you won't get the money. You won't get the $1 billion. While his son is over on the other side, raking in money, raking in millions, and then raking in billions from the Chinese. Come on, folks. You that blinded? Are you that blinded by this nonsense that's going on in our government? Of course, somebody says Trump 2020. It's going to be an uphill climb. This is not going to be the time for you to take for granted that somehow, because President Trump is drawing in big crowds at these arenas, that somehow that's going to translate into him winning in 2020. Why? Because the table has been set. They're going to try to wound him as much as possible with this impeachment. They're going to drag this out as long as they can, folks. They're going to drag it out. They're going to drip, 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 drip these stories out. And in 2020, they're hoping that there'll be enough of this dripping going on that the average person will not go and vote. That's the whole point. That's how they win. That's the only way they're going to win. Because if you go vote, if Donald Trump does anywhere close to what he did in 2016, he's going to win the election. He had well more than enough electoral votes to win. He had plenty of electoral votes to win. But they wanted to impeach him from day one. But what did he say? This is what I believe.
If you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave.
You can leave. And just like the Hollywood elites. Where are the Hollywood elites? Where are they when these families are being murdered in Mexico? Oh, they are quick when some thug or criminal gets shot by a police officer. They're quick to get on their networks. They're quick to get on the airwaves and talk about racism and how black people are being targeted by police officers. But when a family gets murdered by a drug cartel, oh, we need to wait. We need to find out more about this. No, we need to send in the Green Beret. We need to send somebody in there that took out somebody like al-Baghdadi. We need to send in the troops to take out whoever is responsible for murdering those families, wounding those children. For what? For drugs. For filthy money. That the American people are addicted to these drugs. They can't get off of these drugs. And the cartels are the biggest suppliers in the world. They're the terrorists at our border. And if it's not them, then it's what we're dealing with these issues in our schools. Knoxville Satanic Children's Ministry looking to teach children through school release program. They're coming for your kids. They're already there. They're already in our schools. They're already in our government. They're already getting privileges that you and I as Christians are no longer afforded. They're allowed to come in dressed up in any way that they want to come. These transgenders is coming in and reading to your children. Look at how some of them resemble this image that you see on the screen. They're confused. They are wicked. They are possessed. And we have opened the door to this, and our children are being exposed to this nonsense. And what are we doing? We're sitting here debating whether to impeach a duly elected president. Folks, I don't know where else you can go with this. Of course, I'm one person, but I've got people that support me, and I thank them tremendously for their support. I would not be able to do what I'm doing without the support of those who believe in what we're doing, who believe in being a part of this. Look, this didn't start just yesterday. This didn't start when I got up this morning. It didn't start when I started wearing my Trump cap. You think I wear my Trump cap to get under your skin? Probably, if it gets under your skin. Look, if it gets under your skin, that's not on me, that's on you. If you're that thin-skinned, you're in the wrong place. If your feelings get hurt because I point out the facts because of abortion, then you're on the wrong program. We're murdering babies in this country daily. 60 million babies have been murdered in the United States since 1973, since Roe v. Wade was put in place. We booted God out of government. We booted God out of the churches. We booted God out of our schools. What did you think was going to happen? When you remove God from the equation, you do have nothing but yourself. And it's been proven you leave yourself to your own devices and you're going to be wicked. That's where we are. Of course, it's free falling. Of course, Paula says homeschool. I agree. We need more alternatives. Homeschooling for some. We need a school choice for others. Look, I've got a whole line of educators in my family, and I would never discourage any of them or disparage anything that they've done. Because most of my family members that have been in education got in it for the right reason. But that's not what we're talking about today, folks. We're not talking about individuals. We're talking about a scheme. We're talking about something that's been designed to take this country down and destroy what this country has been all about and destroy what this families have been on. We have no family cohesiveness in the country anymore. Paula says we need to repent. Amen. You better start repenting. You better turn from wickedness. You better point it out. Of course, I'm Alphonso Ashworth. If you'd like to be a part of I May Be Wrong, but I Don't Think So, this has been a free-falling episode. I don't do this very often. But when I do, you just strap in and hang on. Because you never know where it's going to go. But you know it's going to be a fact. A fact is this country is in a moral decline. The facts are there. People are hooked on gambling. People are hooked on all this nonsense in government. People are hooked on television programs more than they are hooked on their own children. They're more concerned about what's going to happen on Dancing with the Stars than they are about their children's homework. They don't even know and don't even care. They just want the child to be moved on to the next grade until they get out, and most of them leave and can barely read and write. And that's a fact. We are in decline. Our children's math skills are falling. Their cognitive thinking skills are falling. And those that are struggling to get ahead and trying to do better are criticized because they stand up for something. Watch it. You see it every day. Let a young person stand up for something. Akita says, Brother Al cutting up on this free fall Wednesday. Yes, the show's getting ready to end. We do a 30-minute show, but you know what? I'll pop up just about anywhere. You never know. You just have to keep watching. We do want to expand the show. We need more support to do that, and we're asking for them. We do appreciate what y'all do on the program. We have a lot of listeners, a lot of followers. We got a lot of some people that just don't like what I'm doing. I'm okay with that too. But that's not going to change the equation one bit. One election, one governor, one legislator, one person at a time is not going to change this government. It's going to take you and I and we the people. We had better wake up. We better start dealing with these issues, and we better start getting out there and vetting these candidates and making sure they're doing what they say they're going to do when they get there. Whether you like Ocasio-Cortez or whether you like Bernie Sanders, these people are for real. They're telling you exactly what they want to do. Elizabeth Warren is not joking. She's not Bill Clinton. Bill would just say anything that he thought you wanted to hear. But these others, they are for real. They're the real McCoy. They're Marxist, socialist, and ultimately will be communist. And they're not even trying to cover it up and hide it. Of course, I want to thank everyone that's been a part of the show this morning. I see that Tom Brandon joined us. If you got in late, you can still catch it on Facebook. You can still catch the show on my podcast. And you can always catch the show at I May Be Wrong, but I Don't Think So.com. Of course, I want to thank all of you that have been a part of the show of the Free Falling Wednesday. Do not forget, I do this every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Central, and 11 a.m. on the East Coast. God bless you. God bless America, and peace.
You've been listening to Alphonso Ashworth, the Barry White of Podcast Radio. Go forth and share his message. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Remember, no two people can ever occupy the same place at the same time. You were uniquely and wonderfully made. Born an original. Don't die a copy. God bless. Peace.